y'all.
Hey y'all.
It's Erica
And Tasha, and we are
Finding Freedom.
Hi guys.
Hey y'all.
So today we are just continuing our conversation from the last podcast where we were single mom life and single life. And so we were just going to pick up from some of the points since we didn't cover everything, but the video was nice and long. So we wanted to just kind of recap and go over a couple of things that we wanted to talk about.
Yep. All right. So what was it that, as a mother, because I'm not a mother, Tasha is the mother, and I'm the person that's single. And so what was it that, in the last video, I guess summarizing what we talked about, like what was it that stuck out to you?
So we talked mostly the most about, some of the freedom and, balancing and things like that, and dating, with as being a mom, and even our pregnancies and stuff like that. But we didn't really talk about the anxieties that come with being a mom, the struggle, that comes with being a mom, and the guilt that, we may feel for different reasons. I would say the thing that sticks out for me is definitely especially being a single mom, I definitely have, anxieties, not feeling like I'm enough, just being, me having Lauren, Monday through Friday or whatever, and, trying to balance life, trying to, take care of everything by myself, just not feeling like I am enough for her, just doing it alone, and also just feeling like, man, I really desire that family unit. Am I ever going to get it? Am I ever going to, have that consolidated family? And that can cause some anxiety, a lot of anxiety, honestly, and frustration, because I get to the point where I'm just really frustrated, because it's like, man, I'm tired of doing this, by myself. I'm tired of doing this alone. I need some help, and it's just not always readily available.
Right.
And that can cause a lot of frustration. And I think even in households where the husband and the wife are a family unit, while there is more help there and support, a lot of responsibility is still placed on the mom, in my opinion. And women are still not to bash men at all, but this is just a societal, the way things are kind of are. And women are, really the head of the household, ironically, when it comes to making sure, our kids are good and making sure our husbands are good. It's a lot of responsibility placed on us. And it just seems like, man, it should be more balanced sometimes. I know some women enjoy being that caretaker, but it can be really heavy and draining, trying to care for your family, really, in the nurturing role. And as a single mom, it's specifically draining because you're trying to take on the role that was created for two people, really. Because in all honesty, it was created to be for two people. Even as far as financially, society is still built on the fact that two people need to be, bringing in an income to raise a family, to raise a household. And that's why things like child support and things like that are even in place, because a woman cannot do it by themselves. It's just not possible.
Right.
And it is a lot when that support just isn't there at all. But I am thankful I do have a very strong support system with my family, even though they don't live here. They're very supportive. Lauren's dad is supportive as well, and then of course Erica and my friends are really supportive too. But there's still nothing like having that help, having that family unit together. Having a broken home is difficult. It really is. And I'd be lying and acting like, it would be a hypocrite if I said that it wasn't hard, because it's difficult. And there are days where I really hate it. There's no other word. I loathe it. I hate it. And I'm just like crying, or I'm upset, because I'm frustrated and I'm alone with my child. And it's not always easy.
Yeah. And I can definitely feel the hurt and the pain that comes from it. Makes me feel a little emotional, because being a single person, I'm not a single mother, of course, like I said, but being a single person, and being as close as I am to Tasha, it can really hurt, because she is a representative of multiple women out here that are single and struggling with their children alone. And it seems as though there is no breaks. It seems there is no real room for single mothers to have peace or time to themselves, because they have to be there for their kids all the time. When they are in places where they need emotional breaks or peace or whatever it is that they need mentally or emotionally or even spiritually, they really can't get what they need, and so they feel burnt out, drained, because they're constantly having to be there to pour into their children. They're constantly having to be present, and those are the words that I use, and they have to be very intentional about how they raise their children and about how they are representing themselves in front of their children. And a lot of mothers are made to look like they are ratchet or ghetto or too hard on their kids, or they don't care. And it's like, do people really understand what mothers are really dealing with? Single mothers, not just mothers that have their spouses. I mean, because that's a whole other story, because just like Tasha stated earlier, a lot of mothers are in homes with the fathers as well, but it can still seem like the fathers are tired or preoccupied with other things mentally, emotionally, because they're the breadwinners most of the time. If they're spouses of a wife or a boyfriend or whatever the case may be, but specifically for single mothers, it is really hard. And it's like I hurt too, because I have to see her go through this by herself. And I know these feelings are really fresh for her because the conversation was just had not too long ago, prior to us recording this, with the father of her child. And it was a conversation that I was privy to, and I can say that I'm happy that the conversation was ensued, because everybody's voices need to be heard in a situation. And when people feel like their voices aren't being heard, it's going to be a lot of emotional outbursts. It's going to be a lot of things happening, a lot of things that are missed or gone unsaid, and then a lot of assumptions are made, and then it snowballs and it dominoes, and situations are happening. And I think that me being privy to these conversations that are being ensued between them two, it is a representative of what is really happening in other people's relationships. And to me, like, my eyes are being opened more and more to the life of a mother who doesn't have the child's father, and to even see how Lauren reacts to her father being here. Just the connection that she has with her father, which is a very close connection. And when, her being almost inconsolable, that did a lot to me. Sitting here listening to her cry for her father. But on most nights, she just goes to sleep like it's nothing. But knowing that her father is here, feeling his presence in the home, and knowing that he's not going to be here, shortly thereafter, she is like, oh my God, trying to hold on to the very idea of him being here. And that was hard to hear. It was hard. And I know I'm trying to explain this from a person's perspective, that because I'm not a mother, but I'm on the outside looking in, and I see these things, and it's emotional for me to hear and see these things. Not to try to bring a sad vibe to the podcast, but this is reality, and these are our lives, and this is the reason why we're doing this, because we're learning how to find freedom for real, and to get through all these things, and we're bringing you our lives, and to let y'all know, like, this is really what's going on, like, this is really how we feel. And a lot of people are not exposing certain things that they feel because they're afraid. Right. So I digress. Mm-hmm. But yes.
Yeah, and like she said, a lot of guilt can come from that. Yeah. Feeling like, dang, like, I wish I could have done more to make my family stay together. or should I have just stayed and been unhappy so that my child doesn't have to experience this? That separation anxiety and feeling really emotional. That guilt is definitely there and often. And it's just something that I am growing to, combat, because, the reality is, she is being raised, co-parently, and co-jointly. And she, there are times when it's going to be like this, honestly. And so really combating that guilt of like not having, that providing her with that environment, is really difficult at times. And just accepting it too. Acceptance is a really big thing. Accepting the fact that this is the reality of it, that while it's challenging and difficult, she's still good. She's still okay. She's asleep. She has both parents. Both of us are active in our lives. While there are some, drawbacks, I guess you could say, and that guilt is there, she's blessed, honestly. She really is. And she's a beautiful baby. Learning her own way, even though she's 25 in spirit. She is blessed. And I'm fortunate to have the relationship I do with her dad. It's still developing, of course, because we are both new to this and we've gone through our own obstacles. We've gone through a lot together. And apart. And so we are still learning. Like Erica said, we just had a conversation that needed to be had. And that needs to be had between co-parents.
Yes.
You have to learn how to really communicate and put your stuff to the side and put it to the forefront too.
Absolutely.
Deal with your stuff. Deal with the relational stuff too, and the relationship stuff, so that you can parent. People act like when you're a parent that your kids is just the first priority and everything else goes out the door. How can I take care of my child if I'm not taking care of me first? I'm the priority. Once I get myself together, then I can properly take care of and care for my child. And so with that being said, like I said, really handling the relationship stuff between you and that child's parent is important, so that the pettiness can go out the door, so that you guys can heal whatever trauma or whatever conflict, caused you guys to break apart. That needs to be healed too. It needs to be talked about. It needs to be discussed so that you can care for your child. That stuff has to be moved out of the way. Or there's always going to be this bickering, there's always going to be this tension that can be resolved and healed. It takes time though. It takes patience. It takes maturity. And that's, what we're in the process of growing through and going through, is really maturing and letting each other talk, listening, not having the guard and defenses all the way up here, because there's still love there. Obviously, we have a beautiful baby. At one point in time, we were able to share that love together. So the love is still there. Obviously, we're not in love because we're not together, but we are adults, and we definitely have to really, do adult things as far as having those conversations, those tough conversations, communicating, and really, working through things so that we can parent our child correctly, or children, for those that have other children. But yeah.
Yeah. And those are great points that you made. I think, for me, I think a big fear of mine is, wow, now I'm just realizing something as you were talking. Like, having a fear that me, being single again, no children, and I end up with someone, because, basically I'm going to most likely end up with someone that has children, honestly, if I can be really transparent and kind of vulnerable at this moment, I would be kind of scared that with the two people working through their traumas as individuals, and then they're working through their traumas together, I would be afraid that, oh man, they might find that love for that person again and try to get back with that person. And I think that was a hidden fear for me. Something I never really exposed. But that is, for me, exposing it is like, it's not as powerful as I thought it was, because I didn't expose it, Now it's just like, no, all of us have things to work through. Single, married, single with children, we all have things in our minds that we have in our minds, fears, things that we struggle with and don't really work through, because of fear, of fear of exposure, fear of somebody, if we told somebody, they gonna think you stupid. And it's like, no, like, I'm in a place where I'm finding my voice more and more. And it's very important to work with yourself as a single person. Like, I'm learning how to not take it for granted now at this stage of my life, while being single with no children. Like, I'm learning to not take it for granted. I'm learning that having self-talk is extremely important. Like, if you don't hear anything else that I'm saying, please make sure that you sit with yourself. If you're single with no children, please make sure you sit with yourself and have those talks with yourself. And those thoughts that are in your mind that you're afraid that might happen, expose them. Speak them out loud to yourself. Speak them out loud. Pray about it. Speak it out loud, because you want to expose those things that you're afraid of. And a lot of times we walk around with these burdens and these fears on our hearts, and we don't really want to, expose it because we may sound stupid, to ourselves or to somebody else. But it's like, no, like, have that talk with yourself. Like, expose it. And then when you talk about it, whatever may seem big in your mind or internally, it's really small and insignificant. Not that your feelings are insignificant, or not that you should minimize your feelings, because I'm learning how not to do that. But I'm learning to expose certain things that really don't need certain power internally, so that I can learn to work through it. Because a lot of times when we're trying to face our fears, we have to actually literally face them to overcome them or to get through them. Mm-hmm. We can't avoid it. And I think that being single and without children, you don't have the children as a distraction. Not to say that they are bad, because they're not. But we just don't have children right now. And that's something that we just can't help. Some of us could have or whatever, but that's neither here nor there. Right now, we don't have any children, and we're, and we're single, and we need to make sure that we're working on ourselves emotionally. Like, it's really drastically important that we sit and we face ourselves all the time, do a lot of introspection, because it really matters. Like, it's hard to face yourself, especially when you're by yourself and all you have is yourself. My life is different than some people's. Some people are maybe surrounded by family and friends or whatever. But most of the time for me, I'm by myself, and yes, I have a confidant here, which I'm so grateful for. But some people may not have that. Some people may. Some people have people all around them, and they don't have the chance to, like, really focus on what's going on up here. But you have to. You have to. It's imperative. Please, I beg of you, please deal with the things internally and up here. Because if you don't, just like Tasha said, when there are things, when it comes time for you having children and having a mate or having a spouse or whatever the case may be, you will have to deal with those things. And those things will come face to face. You will meet those things. And you will have no choice but to deal with those things. And it may not be so good. It may cause a rift in your relationship. It may cause breakups. It may cause separation from your children. Not just physical separation, emotional separation, whatever. Like, those things are very, very, very important, and it's very imperative that you deal with those things internally. And everybody knows what those things are. You may not. But as life comes along, like we have both figured out, some things are really like, okay, I didn't know I had that issue. Oh, that's the problem, So as you grow, and as you sit with yourself, and as you do the proper introspection, you'll see it. It's very imperative. Please, if you didn't hear nothing else I said, please, again, make sure you sit with yourself and heal, and face those fears.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like something that came to my mind when you were talking was like the enemy. I'm sorry, I said it wrong. Forgive me, y'all. I get tongue-tied very easily. But the mind is the enemy's playground. And so a lot of times, like she said, these thoughts can really take over us. And it's really important to have that self-talk, to have that, conversation with yourself. Yes, with you. Talk to yourself, even if you're doing it out loud. You already have that voice in your mind already. You have that inner voice. Absolutely. And so saying it out loud, writing it, if that's your way to, deal with things too, which I'm a writer, so I write a lot. But getting it out, visually seeing it or hearing it, auditory, like, it's really important. And it helps combat guilt. It helps combat, those things that you really struggle with. You may not share it or you may not have that confidence, but getting it out to someone or some way, somehow is really important. Therapy,
Absolutely.
mentors, whoever,
Yes.
all of that is really vital. And I've grown a lot, becoming a mother, even in the process from my pregnancy up until now. It's caused a lot of personal growth, and that's something I'm grateful for. It's caused me to grow as an individual, apart from, coming into this additional role as a mother. It's pushed me to do things, getting my own place, really. I've always been a go-getter, but I've also been very scared and shy and timid, and it's forced me to come out of my shell and really be like, okay, I gotta get this done, I gotta go here, I gotta do this, I gotta get an oil change, daddy's not here to help me, or whoever, I gotta do this for Tasha and Lauren, I gotta make sure, we're good. And so I can say that being a mom has really sparked a lot of personal growth too, individually and, like I said, as a mother. And that's something I'm grateful for and I'm thankful for. It's allowed me to come to this platform to say I'm finding myself and finding freedom. And it's crazy because you don't correlate motherhood with finding yourself, but it absolutely has pushed me to it. Putting myself first. I've learned that through my role as a mother, that putting myself first is important so that I can take care of her properly. Right. Taking care of me first so that I can take care of her and make sure she's good. And I'm mentally there, making sure I'm emotionally there, and that comes with self-care, making sure, I'm taking time to myself, having my own routines, whether I'm meditating, praying, getting out in nature, things like that really help ground me. That's really important. And again, it's led to my personal growth and finding myself and finding freedom.
Yeah, I really, and I commend you, Tasha, for where you come from.
Oh, thank you.
I really do. I mean, I've been, in your life for a while, and I've seen a lot of growth, a lot. It's been exponential, and I'm grateful to, see where you've been from before motherhood up until now. And it's been like an amazing journey. I mean, man, if we told you all what we've been through, you'd be like, what? But it's amazing. And it's a very emotional journey. Like, I'm trying to hold back tears now. But it really is an emotional journey, being single. And, even watching Tasha from being single, being married to single to being a mother. I mean, it's been wow. It's been such a transition, and it's amazing to be able to stand on her own 2 feet to see her do that, like, and to see her every day, like, overcoming obstacles every day. As we have conversations. And everything that we have, that we're talking about here is our lives, that we're living out literally, right now. Everything we're talking about is like what we have to deal with, yes. And being single, going home to yourself, knowing that I desire companionship, knowing that I desire, family, I desire to be close to my family. I desire to have that dynamic, and I don't have it the way that I would like it. It can be disheartening, and it can be hard. It really can. And making sure that I'm keeping myself preoccupied, not just by going out and doing different things, but doing things that will start creativity within me is one of the reasons why both of us started this. Starting on our healing journey, more and more, is learning how to be creative and tap into things that are internal, things that you love. It tapping into your passion, your purpose, can absolutely bring healing to that place, and it is bringing healing to that place for me, as far as the whole family dynamic and the family aspect. I'm sure that'll be a topic that we will discuss on another episode, definitely. But yes, it is absolutely imperative, being single, to make sure that you work on you. If you gotta go to therapy, go to therapy. Yeah. It is not, especially in our culture, us black folk, especially black men, do not like going to therapy. Let's just be real. I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. I've seen men that I've been close to that need it, that absolutely need it, and that are hurting, but it's too prideful to go because for whatever reason they just feel like they just, can't go to therapy, and it's like, no, you need it, and it's okay. It's okay to open up and be vulnerable. But our black men and us as a black culture have been taught to not do it because of pride and ego, and you don't want anybody in your business or whatever, but everything that you're going through is seeping out and it's spilling out. You're bleeding on everybody, and it's not okay. So I encourage everybody. I'm sure it'll be men watching this, but please, if you know you're going through something, I implore you, please, get some help. Even if you feel like a therapy may not be the option for you, hey, you have a friend, a good friend, confide in them. Talk to somebody, but you need to expose those things, unearth those things, because it's absolutely necessary for you. Mm-hmm. And you are worthy. You are worthy. You are absolutely worthy of that. You're worthy of healing. Everybody watching who needs it, you're worthy of healing. Every mom, I'm not going to speak to them. I'm going to let her speak to the moms. But for me, for single people, you're absolutely worthy of healing. You're absolutely worthy of companionship. You're worthy of having mental stability, emotional stability. Please make sure that you get that. Make sure you get that.
Absolutely. We've both gone through therapy.
Still in therapy.
Yeah, and still in therapy. Mm-hmm. I'm a therapist and still going through therapy. So it's really important that you kind of let the cliches down, let the anxieties down, just open up to someone, like you said, even if it's not a therapist. Go somewhere, talk to somebody. Okay, we all need it. We all deserve it. Self-worth and self-value is really important. So, absolutely.
What do you have to say to the single moms?
I guess as far as like my thing to say to single moms would be just to know that you're not alone, even in those moments where you may feel like it. Yes. You're not alone. And if you're feeling alone, reach out to someone. It's okay. It is okay. It's okay to have bad and sad days. It's okay to get frustrated. It is. It's okay. You don't have to carry that guilt. It's okay. We carry a lot. Know that you're doing a good job. Know that you are doing a great job. And you're doing the best you can with what you have. And love on yourself. Self-care is really important. Like I said, it is absolutely, it's not just important, it should be prioritized.
Yes.
A lot of times it's not prioritized because we have all these other roles and all these other things that we're trying to do, and in our spare time we're trying to take care of those things that we can't do while the child is, we're trying to occupy them or take care of them. Mm-hmm. But no, take time for yourself in whatever way you can. I know sometimes you don't have that ability to have the child not near you, but while they're sleeping or whatever, take that time for yourself. Get you a drink or whatever mm-hmm. that is, that vice is, whatever it is, that coping skill or that thing that makes you relax. Do that for you. Pour back into yourself. Get a book, whatever it is, and really love on you. Love on yourself, and the benefits from that will be amazing. And so that would be the advice I would give to moms, to single moms and single moms. Yeah, mm-hmm.
Absolutely. And I think another one for everyone is nature. Getting outside, getting fresh air. Because what I noticed too is a lot of single mothers, especially those that have multiple children, they're unable to work, and it's hard. I know a single mom now. She's working, but she has 2 boys. And they are a lot on her, and she has nobody to help her care for those kids. And mentally, at times it can seem like she might just check out sometimes, because man, it's a lot when the other parent is not there. When they feel like they have nobody, you have to do all that you can to try to focus, and it really is hard. And so getting outside, it can help ground you.
Absolutely.
I know it's cold right now where we are, but
buckle up, okay?
Yes.
Put a scarf on. It's okay.
Yeah.
Get some fresh air.
Yes.
Even in the cold, I still really, you know, say go outside, get some air. It makes a world of difference. I remember being out of work and being I had just had Lauren and having postpartum depression, and the world of difference it made just to get outside, even if I was just going outside on the patio, like just getting some air and breathing fresh air and looking up, like literally looking up and like taking some breaths and grounding myself. It really, even chemically, you know, it did something for me, you know, and it's just really important. It really is. It's really good self-care. It is.
Yeah. I mean, I encourage it, but I definitely have enjoyed this conversation that we've had tonight. It's very vital that we stick to certain routines as moms and as non-moms, especially those that are single, you know, because we are talking about the single people, you know. No shade to married folk, you know what I'm saying, but right now we single and whatnot, you know what I'm saying, and we're talking about a place, we're coming from a place where we can relate to other people that are single, because, you know, that's where we at. So but we really thank you for joining us today and listening to us, you know, talk about this. And we are truly on a journey to finding freedom, truly. So thank you all.
Thanks for listening, guys, and we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.